Imagine you're poling a small boat through a mangrove forest, the air thick with the smell of salt and damp earth. The water is still, reflecting the tangled roots and the deep green canopy above. All around you there's a symphony of buzzing insects and the far-off call of a distant bird. Suddenly, through a break in the leaves, you see it. A flash of vibrant, shocking pink against the muted tones of the swamp. It's not a flamingo, but something even more exotic. Something that feels ancient and almost otherworldly. This is the Roseate Spoonbill, a true gem of the American wetlands, a living splash of color that turns a murky landscape into a breathtaking canvas. They move with a quiet grace that makes them seem like phantoms. Here one moment, and gone the next. These birds are one of the most incredible sights you can witness in the wild. Seeing a flock of them take flight is an experience that stays with you forever. Their long, broad wings catch the light, transforming them into a pink cloud drifting across the horizon. They are a powerful reminder that our planet's wetlands, often seen as just muddy, inaccessible places, are actually treasure chests of biodiversity. The Roseate Spoonbill is the crown jewel of these watery realms, a testament to the wild, untamed beauty that thrives in the hidden corners of our world. Their presence tells you that the ecosystem is healthy, a vibrant and functioning community of plants and animals, all interconnected in a delicate dance of survival. The first time I encountered a Roseate Spoonbill up close, I was in the Florida Everglades. The sun was just beginning to set, casting a golden glow over the sawgrass prairie. The bird was wading in the shallows, its head down, methodically sweeping its strange bill through the water. The intensity of its pink and red plumage was startling, almost surreal against the darkening landscape. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated wildlife magic. These are the encounters that fuel a passion for conservation, the moments that make you realize just how much we stand to lose if we don't protect these incredible creatures and the habitats they depend on. The spoonbill isn't just a bird, it's an ambassador for the wild. What makes them so captivating is this stark contrast between their delicate, almost whimsical appearance and their rugged, swampy home. You might expect to find such a brilliantly colored bird in a pristine, tropical paradise, but here they are, thriving in the mud and muck of coastal marshes and wetlands. They are a symbol of resilience, a flash of elegance in an environment that can be harsh and unforgiving. Their very existence challenges our perceptions of what is beautiful and where beauty can be found. They teach us to look closer, to appreciate the complexity and wonder of ecosystems that we might otherwise overlook, proving that even in the swamp, nature can create its most stunning masterpieces. When you get a good look at a Roseate Spoonbill, you can see it's a true work of art. The most striking feature, of course, is its feathers. The color isn't a uniform pink, it's a stunning gradient that ranges from a soft, pale blush on its neck and back, to a deep, almost fluorescent magenta on its wings and tail. This incredible coloration isn't something they're born with. Like flamingos, their pink hue comes from their diet, specifically from pigments called carotenoids, found in the crustaceans and other aquatic invertebrates they eat. The more of these pigments they consume, the more vibrant their feathers become, making their color a direct indicator of their foraging success and the health of their environment. Then there's that incredible bill, the feature that gives the bird its name. It's long, flat, and widens at the end into a shape that looks exactly like a spoon or a spatula. This isn't just for show, it's a highly specialized feeding tool, perfectly adapted for its unique hunting style. The bill is packed with sensitive nerve endings that allow the spoonbill to feel for its prey in murky water without needing to see it. It's a remarkable example of evolutionary engineering, a biological tool that is both bizarre and brilliant. The bird's head is also noteworthy. It's featherless, and has a greenish-yellow cast, which might seem odd up close but prevents its feathers from getting matted with mud and water while it's feeding. Standing tall on long, slender legs, the Roseate Spoonbill moves with a deliberate and graceful gait. It can reach a height of over 2.5 feet with a wingspan that can stretch to more than 4 feet, making it a truly impressive sight, especially when in flight. Its body is lean and elegant, built for wading through shallow waters with minimal effort. During the breeding season, the colors on a spoonbill become even more intense. The shoulders blaze with a patch of fiery red, and the tail takes on a deep orange hue, creating a spectacular display designed to attract a mate. It's nature's way of saying, "Look at me, I am strong, healthy, and ready to raise a family." From its piercing red eyes to the tips of its long legs, every part of the roseate spoonbill is adapted for a life spent in the wetlands. Its appearance is a story of evolution, diet, and survival. It's a bird that wears its life story on its feathers. The soft pinks tell of a diet rich in shrimp and small fish, while the specialized bill speaks of a life spent sifting through the hidden world beneath the water's surface. Observing a spoonbill is like reading a chapter from nature's book, a beautiful and complex narrative written in shades of pink and shaped by the demands of the swamp. The way a roseate spoonbill finds its food is as unique as its appearance. This bird is a master of tactile foraging, which means it relies on touch rather than sight to catch its prey. You'll see it wading slowly and deliberately through shallow water, its head held low. It keeps its bill slightly open and submerged, sweeping it back and forth in wide, graceful arcs. This signature move is what we call the spoonbill sweep. As it moves, the sensitive nerve endings inside its spoon-shaped bill act like tiny detectors, feeling for any movement in the water. It's an incredibly effective technique, especially in the murky, sediment-rich waters of marshes and estuaries where visibility is often zero. When the sensitive bill touches something, a small fish, a shrimp, or an aquatic insect, the reaction is lightning fast. The bill snaps shut with surprising speed, trapping the unsuspecting meal inside. The spoonbill will then lift its head, toss the prey back into its throat, and swallow it whole. It's a fluid, efficient motion honed by millions of years of evolution. Sometimes you'll see a single bird hunting methodically on its own, patiently working a promising patch of water. It's a quiet, focused hunt. A perfect display of an animal in tune with its environment, using its specialized tools with expert precision. Watching them is like watching a master craftsman at work. Spoonbills are also social birds and often feed in groups. When they forage together, their collective movement can be even more effective. As a line of spoonbills sweeps through the water, they stir up the mud and sediment, flushing out small creatures that might otherwise remain hidden. This cooperative effort benefits the entire flock, increasing the chances for each bird to find a meal. You'll often see them feeding alongside other wading birds like ibises, egrets, and herons. This creates a bustling, dynamic scene in the wetlands, with each species using its own unique strategy to hunt, all sharing the same rich, watery pantry, but targeting slightly different prey to minimize competition. Their diet is quite varied and depends on what's available in their local habitat. They're not picky eaters. Their main food sources include small fish like minnows and killifish, aquatic insects and their larvae, shrimp, crabs, and even small frogs and slugs. This diverse diet is what provides them with the carotenoid pigments that are essential for their famous pink coloration. So when you see a brightly colored spoonbill, you know it's been eating well. The spoonbill's clever hunting strategy allows it to thrive in a challenging environment, turning cloudy water from an obstacle into an advantage and proving that sometimes what you can feel is more important than what you can see. Roseate spoonbills are creatures of the coast, deeply connected to the warm, watery landscapes of the Americas. You won't find these spectacular birds just anywhere. They have very specific habitat requirements. Their primary range stretches along the coastal regions of the Gulf of Mexico, from Texas and Louisiana all the way down through Mexico and Central America. They are also a flagship species for the state of Florida, especially in the southern part of the state, where places like the Everglades National Park and the Ding-Darling National Wildlife Refuge on Sanibel Island provide critical sanctuary. These areas offer the perfect mix of shallow saltwater and freshwater wetlands that spoonbills need to thrive. Their ideal home is a mosaic of different aquatic environments. They need shallow bays, estuaries, and mangrove swamps for feeding, where the water is calm and full of the small fish and invertebrates they love to eat. For nesting, they seek out the protection of dense thickets of trees or shrubs, often on small coastal islands or in secluded parts of the mangrove forest. These nesting sites, called rookeries, are chosen carefully to be safe from ground predators like raccoons and bobcats. By nesting in colonies, often alongside other wading birds, they gain safety in numbers, with many eyes watching out for danger. The health of these specific habitats is directly linked to the survival of the spoonbill population. The life of a spoonbill is often governed by the seasons and the availability of food. While many populations in the tropics are year-round residents, the spoonbills found in the United States are more migratory. After the breeding season, which typically occurs in the winter and spring in Florida and Texas, many of them will disperse northward along the coast. It's not uncommon to see them venturing into Georgia, South Carolina, and even further up the Atlantic coast during the summer months in search of new feeding grounds. This post-breeding dispersal helps them avoid depleting the food sources in their nesting areas and allows younger birds to explore and find new territories for themselves. These habitats are more than just a place for spoonbills to live. They are the lifeblood of their existence. The shallow, nutrient-rich waters are their grocery store, and the dense, isolated mangroves are their nursery. The delicate balance of saltwater and freshwater, the cycle of tides, and the health of the aquatic food web all play a crucial role in supporting them. That's why protecting these coastal wetlands is so incredibly important. When we preserve a mangrove forest or a coastal marsh, we're not just saving a piece of land, we're protecting the home of the roseate spoonbill and countless other species that depend on these vibrant, life-giving ecosystems for their survival. The roseate spoonbill is more than just a pretty face in the swamp. It plays a vital role in the health and balance of its ecosystem. As a predator, it helps to control the populations of the small fish and invertebrates it eats. This might seem like a small thing, but by keeping these populations in check, spoonbills prevent any single species from becoming too dominant, which helps maintain the overall biodiversity of the wetland food web. Every creature they consume is part of a larger energy cycle. The nutrients are transferred up the food chain, and eventually, through the spoonbill's waste, those nutrients are redistributed back into the environment, fertilizing the water and supporting the growth of algae and aquatic plants that form the base of the food chain. One of the most important roles the roseate spoonbill plays is that of an indicator species. Because their survival is so closely tied to the quality of their environment, the health of the spoonbill population can tell us a lot about the health of the wetland itself. If spoonbill numbers are strong and their feathers are a vibrant pink, it's a good sign that the water is clean, the food web is robust, and the habitat is thriving. Conversely, if spoonbill populations begin to decline, or if their feathers appear pale and washed out, it serves as a warning sign. It tells scientists and conservationists that something is wrong in the ecosystem. Perhaps there's pollution, a disruption in water flow, or a decline in their food sources. Their nesting habits also have a positive impact on the environment. When spoonbills gather in large colonial rookeries, their droppings, which are rich in nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus, accumulate in high concentrations under their nests. This nutrient-rich guano acts as a powerful fertilizer for the trees and shrubs they nest in, such as mangroves and willows. This can lead to increased plant growth and productivity in the immediate area, creating a more robust and resilient plant community. In this way, the spoonbills actively contribute to the health and vitality of the very forests that provide them with shelter and protection for raising their young. They give back to the habitat that sustains them. By simply existing, roseate spoonbills also create opportunities for other species. Their feeding behavior, the constant sweeping and stirring of the sediment, can kick up food particles that smaller fish or other birds can then eat. They are a key part of the wetland community, interacting with dozens of other species in ways both direct and indirect. Their presence enriches the entire ecosystem, making it more complex and resilient. Protecting the roseate spoonbill means protecting this intricate web of life. They are like the pulse of the wetlands. As long as they are thriving, we know the heart of this wild and wonderful ecosystem is still beating strong. Section 6. A fragile existence. Threats on the horizon. Despite their beauty and resilience, roseate spoonbills face a growing number of threats that jeopardize their future. The most significant danger of all is habitat loss and degradation. The coastal wetlands, marshes, and mangrove forests they depend on are some of the most threatened ecosystems on the planet. These areas are prime real estate for human development, leading to the draining of wetlands for agriculture, the construction of coastal communities, and the building of roads and infrastructure. Every acre of wetland that is paved over or converted is an acre of foraging ground or potential nesting site that is permanently lost to the spoonbills and all the other wildlife that call it home. Water management and pollution also pose a serious threat. Spoonbills rely on very specific water conditions, shallow depths, and a healthy flow of fresh and salt water. In places like South Florida, the natural flow of water has been dramatically altered by a complex system of canals, levees and dams designed to control flooding and supply water for cities and farms. This disruption can lead to water levels that are too high or too low for spoonbills to feed effectively. Furthermore, runoff from agricultural fields and urban areas carries pollutants like pesticides, herbicides, and heavy metals into the wetlands. These toxins can accumulate in the food chain, harming the spoonbill's health, reducing their breeding success, and even causing death. Climate change is an emerging and powerful threat that looms over the future of the roseate spoonbill. As global temperatures rise, sea levels are projected to rise with them. For a low-lying coastal species like the spoonbill, this is a catastrophic prospect. Rising seas will inundate their shallow feeding flats and nesting islands, shrinking their available habitat. More intense and frequent hurricanes, another consequence of a warming climate, can destroy entire rookeries in a single storm, wiping out nests, eggs, and young chicks. Changes in water temperature and salinity can also disrupt the entire aquatic food web that the spoonbills depend upon, making it harder for them to find enough food to survive and raise their young. In the past, roseate spoonbills faced a different kind of threat. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, they were hunted relentlessly for their beautiful pink feathers, which were highly prized for use in ladies' hats and fans. This practice, known as plume hunting, decimated their populations and pushed them to the brink of extinction in the United States. While this direct persecution has thankfully ended due to conservation laws, the legacy of that era serves as a stark reminder of how quickly human actions can devastate a species. Today the threats are more subtle but no less dangerous, stemming from the cumulative impact of our modern world on their fragile coastal homes. Section 7, Guardians of the Glades, the fight for survival. The good news is that we are not standing by and watching these magnificent birds disappear. All across their range, dedicated people and organizations are working hard to protect the roseate spoonbill and its precious habitat. Conservation efforts are multifaceted, tackling the threats from many different angles. One of the most important strategies is the protection and restoration of wetland habitats. This involves creating national wildlife refuges, state parks, and other protected areas where development is restricted and the ecosystem can be managed for the benefit of wildlife. In places like the Everglades, massive restoration projects are underway to try and restore a more natural flow of water, which is critical for the spoonbill's survival. Scientific research is another crucial tool in the fight to save the spoonbill. Biologists and ecologists are studying every aspect of the bird's life, from its migratory patterns to its breeding success and dietary needs. By fitting spoonbills with satellite transmitters, scientists can track their movements and identify the most important feeding and nesting sites, which helps prioritize which areas need the most protection. They also monitor spoonbill populations closely, conducting regular surveys to count their numbers and assess their health. This data helps us understand how the birds are responding to environmental changes and allows us to measure the success of our conservation actions over time. Public awareness and education are also key components of the conservation strategy. The more people know about the roseate spoonbill and the challenges it faces, the more likely they are to support conservation efforts. Organizations like the National Audubon Society play a huge role in this, running campaigns to raise awareness, advocating for stronger environmental laws, and encouraging people to get involved through citizen science programs and local conservation initiatives. Ecotourism also plays a part. When people travel to see these incredible birds in their natural habitat, it creates an economic incentive for local communities to protect the wetlands rather than develop them. A living spoonbill becomes more valuable than a drained swamp. These conservation efforts matter because saving the roseate spoonbill is about more than just saving a single species. Because they are an indicator species, protecting them means we are also protecting the entire wetland ecosystem, which benefits countless other plants and animals. Healthy wetlands also provide essential services for people, such as filtering our water, protecting our coasts from storm surges, and supporting commercial fisheries. The fight to save the spoonbill is a fight for cleaner water, healthier coastlines, and a more resilient planet. It's a battle for the wild soul of our coastal regions, and it's a battle we absolutely must win. Section 8. A Resilient Spirit, a Story of Comeback. The story of the roseate spoonbill is not just one of peril, it is also a powerful story of resilience and hope. To truly appreciate their current status, we have to look back to the turn of the 20th century. At that time, the plume trade was at its height and the spoonbill's vibrant feathers made it a prime target. Hunters slaughtered them by the thousands, and by the 1930s their population in the United States had crashed to just a few dozen nesting pairs, confined to a few remote, inaccessible islands off the coasts of Florida and Texas. The bird had all but vanished from the American landscape, a tragic victim of fashion's fleeting whims. The comeback began with the birth of the modern conservation movement. The passage of the Migratory Bird Treaty Act in 1918 made it illegal to hunt, capture, or sell spoonbills and their feathers. The establishment of the first national wildlife refuges, including a key sanctuary in the Florida Keys created by the Audubon Society, provided the birds with the safe havens they desperately needed to begin to recover. Slowly but surely, protected from the hunters' guns, the surviving spoonbills began to breed and expand their numbers. It was a long, slow process, a testament to the species' tenacity and the power of protective legislation. Over the decades that followed, the spoonbill population gradually rebounded. They began to recolonize their former territories, spreading back along the Gulf Coast and throughout the Florida Peninsula. This recovery was a major conservation success story, proving that when we take decisive action to remove a direct threat, wildlife can bounce back. Seeing a flock of spoonbills flying over the Everglades today is not just a beautiful sight, it's a living monument to the efforts of those early conservation pioneers who fought to give these birds a second chance. Their return from the brink is a powerful lesson in what is possible when we choose to protect nature. However, their recovery is not complete, and their story serves as a constant reminder that conservation is an ongoing effort. The threats they face today, habitat loss, water mismanagement, and climate change, are more complex and insidious than the plume hunters of the past. The spoonbill's journey from near extinction to a fragile recovery highlights both their incredible resilience and their profound vulnerability. Their story inspires us to continue the work of protecting our planet's wild places, ensuring that the pink phantoms of the swamp will continue to grace our wetlands for generations to come. They have shown us they can recover, but now it's up to us to provide them with a healthy home where they can truly thrive. Section 9. The lasting impression, a symbol for our wild places. The roseate spoonbill leaves an indelible mark on anyone lucky enough to see one. It's a bird that seems to have been painted by a fantasy artist, a creature of such vivid and unexpected color that it forces you to stop and simply stare in wonder. It is a living, breathing symbol of the wild, untamed beauty that still exists in our world. In a time when so much of nature is shrinking and fading, the spoonbill is a brilliant, defiant splash of pink. It reminds us that the world is still full of magic and mystery, and that these treasures are worth fighting for. Their elegance and unique form make them one of the most charismatic inhabitants of the wetlands. Their importance, however, goes far beyond their stunning looks. The roseate spoonbill is a feathered barometer for the health of our coastal ecosystems. Their presence or absence tells a critical story about our water quality, the integrity of our food webs, and the success of our efforts to live in better harmony with nature. When we work to protect the spoonbill, we are inherently working to protect the entire system that supports them. We are working to ensure that our bays and estuaries are clean, that our mangrove forests are intact, and that the natural rhythms of our coastlines are preserved. Protecting them is an act of self-preservation, as healthy wetlands are vital for our own well-being. The journey of the roseate spoonbill, from the brink of extinction due to the plume trade to its fragile recovery, is a powerful lesson in both human folly and human compassion. It shows us the devastating impact we can have on the natural world, but it also shows us our capacity for positive change. The spoonbill's comeback gives us hope. It proves that conservation works and that it is never too late to act. This bird is a resilient survivor, a testament to the enduring power of nature when it is given a chance. It challenges us to rise to the occasion once more and face the modern threats that now stand in its way. Ultimately, the roseate spoonbill is more than just a bird. It is an ambassador for the wild, a symbol of the beauty, complexity, and fragility of our planet's wetlands. To care about the spoonbill is to care about the future of our coastlines and the health of our planet. Every time one of these magnificent birds takes flight, it carries with it the story of our shared environment. It's a story of struggle, resilience, and hope. It's up to all of us to ensure that story has a happy ending, and that the swamps and marshes of the Americas will forever be graced by these breathtaking pink beauties.